I checked my wife's phone. So my wife, 38, works at a dental office. She has this younger, age 30, male co-worker named M. He's single, and she has been sort of giving him advice on dating, etc. Side story. She did hair for 18 years and still cuts hair on the side. She really only cuts mine and her 2 brothers and nephews' hair. Well, I guess she mentioned this at work. M asked her to start cutting his hair. So he came to our house a couple of times. For a cut, twice while I was home and once while I was at work. Again, this dude is younger, so I don't know, I just didn't think much of it. So one day we are sitting at home and I see her texting someone. She then shows me a funny video on her phone, but at the same time a text comes through. It was M. All I saw was LMAO and I say, "You've got a text." She dead stops our conversation and proceeds to text him back. So I stand up and walk into the kitchen to make a pot of coffee. At that point I say out loud, I think M needs to stop texting my wife so much. She then walks past me and rolls her eyes and goes, "Well, ain't that a double standard?" I say, "What do you mean by that?" She then sort of jumps to the conclusion that I'm just texting girls from work. I may have told her about texting a co-worker about work-related things, maybe on occasion. It was a weird conversation. But it ended with me explaining how married life needs boundaries and that basically, her boundaries suck, lol. I can go into great detail there, but I digress. I also added, while we're on the subject, I don't think it's wise for this dude to come over for a haircut when I'm not home. Then made the comparison, if I were home alone with some 30-years-old girl, you wouldn't be thrilled about that either, right? And she immediately agreed, also kinda weird. So fast forward to last week. She goes in to have a surgery on her arm. She hands me her phone right before they take her back. I'm sitting in the waiting room for a good 4 hours. Her phone is burning a hole into my pocket. I'm also in the waiting room with her mother, so I can't just rip through her phone. Eventually I excuse myself to the restroom and start looking through it. I first check Snapchat, nothing. I look at her Messenger app, nothing. Then I go to my number 1 suspect. I read their most recent conversation. Nothing more than work-related stuff and her giving him dating advice. Her telling him how to text some girl back. Then I venture into her deleted messages. I see she had 5 messages deleted from her text thread with M. Unfortunately, you can't see what those texts are unless you reinstate them. So I do just that. I go back to their texting thread to see what had changed. The only thing I noticed was her response to him saying how much he loves his haircut. She replied, "You're very welcome." Pretty sure she deleted that text from herself, as I do not recall seeing it my first run through of their messages. My only assumption is that she deleted that response in an effort to protect my insecurity. Eventually she gets out of surgery. I take her home and she lays down to rest. She then asks, still on lots of drugs, if I raided her phone while she was knocked out. I just said, well, that'd be hard to do with your mother next to me all day. She then says, well, you told me you can look through my old messages, and I just said yes. That's a thing, lol. She even started to open her phone and show me her text, and I just said, no, just get some rest, knowing damn well those texts from M were installed. So now I'm sort of at a standstill with it all. When or how to bring it up. I'm afraid if I say something it will lead to more distrust. When or how to bring it up. I'm afraid if I say something it will lead to more distrust. At the same time, I'm very interested in what those 5 messages said. Was it an attempt to protect my insecurities? If so, deleting those messages was not a great move.